my channel. Well, I got a bunch of knives up here, but I've got even a bigger bunch of knives in a box down there because I wanted to talk about the way I carry knives in general. You know, like as far as EDC and everything else, what I do in general, and that is I'll usually have 1 or 2 pocket knives with me, and the pocket knives are this used to be considered a pocket knife, a buck 110. This used to be considered pocket knife. It was actually a belt knife. It was belt carry. All right. So the main thing I'm going to be talking about right now is the size range, and I just wanted to get folders out of the way first because a lot of people, this is going to be a fixed blade size range, but I do the same thing with folders. I'll have small folders, you know, on down to, you know, really tiny ones and everything, and every size in between, on up to, you know, you get to a point where the folders get so big that you might as well be carrying a fixed blade with you. I mean, they're that big and they're that heavy. They get to be impractical. Same way with neck knives. Neck knives have got a sweet spot in size and weight range. You know, here's an extreme. You can go a 4-inch blade neck knife, but this thing weighs a little over 2 ounces. You hardly know it's there other than the length. And that's, again, size of the blade. See, this is a 4-inch blade, SE4, and this is one of those cold steel spikes, 4-inch blade. So yeah, this one's thin. It's very inexpensive. This one costs a lot more, but I mean, you might be the type of person that does one knife will do it all. I used to carry this, basically a buck 110. I carried it for decades. I mean, that's more than 10 years, more than 20 years, decades. And I had it do pretty much everything. That's because I was at the beginning of, you know, the modern flipper time, before people, I mean, they had thumb studs. People would trick them up, make them automatic. That's a special one, you know, made by Buck. But for the most part, they had fixed blades and everything. Some people, you know, like small size, will go down to like the Spider-Go Dragonfly. They find out that, you know, a small blade for most of their cutting tasks that they're doing every day works fine. Or there's a bigger knife, like in the kitchen, within reach. This is carbon steel, so I was going to bring that up here. Or they have something on them, and it does everything that they need. I'm, you know, I'm a knife guy, a knife fanatic, a knife whatever you want to call it. I like knives of all different sizes and everything. So I like having a variety. Now you look at this. When I was going to get this SE4, this is what we're going to start narrowing it down to. Here's the 3, and then this is the Koban 5.5-inch blade. Now see, we're starting to get to the upper range of what I'm going to talk about. I'm talking about around the 4 to 5-inch range of knife. So if you look at this joker right here, look at this blade shape, handle length. This is a little bit less. You see, there's going to be a knife available in your size range for whatever you want to do, folder or fixed blade. It's going to be within your budget. It just all depends on what are your priorities. What are you going to do with it? What do you expect the knife to do? If you break it down to just a simple thing, I just want it to cut. I just want it to cut this. Well, how much cutting are you going to do, and what kind of environment are you going to be in? I live in northern Texas, but I grew up in Houston, which is very humid, very hot and very humid. So you'll get this just from sitting out, and not in the rain or anything. You'll get rust. Northern Texas, you still got that flow from the south of the Gulf of Mexico from the water and everything, but it's starting to dry out a little bit. I've lived in the desert of New Mexico for like 12 years. Totally different environment. You can have things that are carbon steel that won't rust for decades because there's not a lot of rain and there's not a lot of humidity in the air. So in getting this SE4, one of the factors that I wanted to try is, like I said, I like S35EN. It's a tough steel. It's a stainless steel, not 100%, completely impervious, but this is not going to happen just sitting there. You're not going to have to worry about that as much. Anything will stain. They call it stainless, but within that size range, see, I already got that, so we can get this that way. You can find a kitchen knife. This one's a little bit long, but you can find a kitchen knife that would fit that size range, But then after that, you start digging into the box of knives. As why I didn't necessarily need to purchase this, but a lot of times when you get knives and you're a collector or you're into a knife channel or whatever, you already have more knives than you need to begin with. There's a difference between need and want. Your wants are going to be, like if you won the jackpot and you had, I don't know, millions of dollars. Well, you could instantly, boost up your knife collection. What would you get? Would you eliminate things that are inexpensive just because, well, it's beneath me? Well, you're going to lose out on a lot of fairly, good knives. BPS, made in Ukraine. This is not 1095. I put a patina on it. The patina, see, like this one, I put a patina on this one too. A patina is going to help it resist rust, but it's not going to stop it. Other ones that I've got coated in mineral oil, and it's doing pretty good. Mineral, again, is not 100%. You have to reapply it. You have to maintain and take care of carbon steel knives, but because of their nature and everything, a lot of times they're not going to chip on you. They're going to roll or whatever. They're a little bit more durable. Even Esse, when they were testing these, they found out that, hey, S35BN is going to break more often than carbon steel. Even though that's so, it all depends on your heat treat. And this Rowan heat treatment, is they got their act together. Here you can get a nice, stag, antler, or whatever handle. This Joker made in Spain. Corzo. Someone I was watching recently, it wasn't the Corzo. They had like the Campero or whatever, which looked like this. He wasn't completely abusing it. At first, he was just taking and doing something that you might do, which is stab it in and go sideways. And stuff, and he bent the tip, and then later on it just broke. The whole thing broke. Maybe it was a bad heat treatment on that one. If it was an Esse knife, again, if you did that, if that happened, send it in. Again, no questions asked. A lot of times if you got something that says guaranteed for life, where's your original receipt? Original receipt? Oh, crap. Well, we don't show it in our computer records. When did you buy it, And you have to jump through a whole hoop. And a lot of people just don't, even though the warranty might be there, they don't ever use it because they know, oh, man, I don't know where the original receipt is. I don't remember where I bought it. So that factored a lot into it. And also made in USA. You're supporting a USA company, if that has anything to do anything with it. All right. It's a little bit bigger knife. But, you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a big blade. It's kind of an upper range there. It's marbles. It was made in China, but it was the original, ideal #1 knife where they got the idea for the Ontario, knife. Again, a lot of people, they get the wrong idea. I think it was best described as a survival knife is a type of knife that you use to get yourself out of the forest and out of the jungle to survive, until you get to help. A bushcraft knife is something to help you when you want to go into the jungle or you want to be in the woods and you want to maintain, you want it to do multiple things. This right here is a good sized knife because of the blade length again for me. This one's about like 5 inches, so it's a little bit longer. It's, a little bit heavier. It's different, Again, the reason why I get a lot of different knives is variety. I like variety. I like choices. I like options. I guess knife collectors and knife users, people like, that get this far into it like me, are, we're more like a knife store. We want a big selection. Again, BPS knives, carbon steel, but, you got a nice big fat blade, about the same, size. The Esse's going to be thicker. It's going to be more expensive. It's stainless steel. This is 1065, 1075. I don't remember. It's not 1095, but it's one of the high carbons and everything. Again, you don't have to spend a lot of money. Some people, this one was gifted to me. Some people have the ability to make knives. I think this one's in 01. This is Airgun Hunter. I think it's Oregon, Ohio. Oh, sorry. I'll have to look it up. But this one he sent to me and made. Look at this. It's the right size and everything. I have a video of this one being made, though, so that makes it special. And I put this rivet in here on this. But this also taught me that this is how you can do a sheath, too, like this. This is a handmade or do-it-yourself type sheath, I believe, that I got somewhere, or I don't remember what's going on. But I remember I put that, before I knew how to tie this stuff down, I put that rivet in there. But you can make your own knife, right? So that's down the price. Of course, you got, it's not, it's just, let me get it right here. Hulk force. Heavy duty knife, again, like the Moras, plastic sheath, inexpensive. Somebody mentioned Mora, Again, it's what you want to do and what you need. Again, blade length. It's not the Mora. This is the Finhawk, Finland. Look at any country where they live with a knife and they use a knife and everything, and see what they use. And a lot of times, you'll be able to figure out what's a good pattern for, that type of environment. See, the blade stock's a little bit thinner, but still. There's a reason for a lot of knives fall into this size. It's a good length. You start getting too long, and it's not going to be easy to even belt carry and stuff, You see somebody with a big long saber, well, they're usually riding a horse and everything, It's for length, for reaching down and grabbing something. But for walking around and everything, it might be a long bayonet. You can just see the evolution of knife lengths and stuff in combat as pistols became available and more reliable. They stopped relying on big, long knives, because they didn't have to reach out. They had something that could reach out and touch someone. Again, BPS knives, just compared to the 4, Like I said, if I wanted something in this size range that could cut and everything, I've got a lot. I've got more choices than I know what to do with. Recently, I just got this Flissa, $25 knife, D2 steel. D2 is not going to have the edge retention. It's not going to be stainless like this one. But as far as like size, length, and reach, look. It's your money. It's all on how you want to spend it. And for me, like I said, this one would have been out of my price range. I wouldn't really have considered it. If I was going to get a 4, I was also looking at the K-Bar Becker, which is about $100, the BK16, or the Harpoon, in a Harpoon shape. But, I mean, for this size and everything, it just matched up with what I already had and what I like and the blade shape, You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with an Esse. If you get it and you don't like it and you want to resell it, you'll be able to resell it. And I like, oh man, it's a made in China knife, and it's only worth like $10 or $15. Well, then you're stuck with it. Old timer again, made in China. But look, this is almost a 5-inch blade. But it's got that kind of like Persian upsweep to it. Look at that. Be good for skinning. See, the sheath will get corrosion though if the brass will pick up some of that. It's an okay looking sheath and everything. I get ideas on how to do stitching and stuff too. It's like, instead of having to reinforce, put a rivet right here. And then this is an extra layer of a piece of leather. And that's just to make it so that you got more space for the knife to go in and out. And then, this is how they retain it. While they're making the sheath, they just fold it over. You can watch a lot of YouTube videos, like I said, and a lot of times the University of YouTube is helpful because it gives you a quick education. You can learn stuff. Here, the Joker Arui. They make it in different sizes. It's the 12, but they make it 10 and everything else. This one's a little bit longer, but again, micarta, olive wood, full tang. This is stainless steel. You have to look it up. Most of the time they use that 4116, but sometimes they use other stainless steels. Let's see what it says right here. AB. But what do you want? What do you need? This was hollow grind. You got flat grind. You just the varieties. Like I said, you've got all kinds of choices. So make use of it. It's whatever you want. This is the Joker Nesmuk in 1420 C28N. S35VN is a little bit more edge retention and stuff, but look at geometry difference. This is going to cut differently than this one. But again, if I needed a knife, if I needed to cut something with that blade, I already have something this long. So after a certain point, logic doesn't apply to knife purchases and stuff. Logic only goes so far. And then after that, it becomes illogical. You're like, why am I doing this? It's because you, for whatever reason, you justify it in your head for whatever reason. All right, one more. Again, if you're going to go bushcraft and you want to get here we go. It's hard to say this. Very good company. Yeah. Very good knife. It's all in what you want to pay and what you want to do. Let's see how long, almost 20 minutes. I got to really watch it. Even though I've got a bigger memory from my phone, I don't have internal memory available. So I have to delete videos. I can't make them too long and all this other stuff. So I've reached my limit. But there you go. I just wanted to show you that you have varieties. You have varieties in the upper range too. But for the 4-inch range, this is what this one. I'm carrying it all the time. So again, it's what do you carry and why are you carrying it? Is it convenient or is it just fits the? It just fits in the. It's just easy, like this one. A lot of times with my gentleman's carry knife. This one was carried on the hip just because of the holster. Now this one here, cross draw carry, cross draw. That's where that is, and it's with me all the time. This one I would just put on whenever, you know, because again, I have to thread the belt. Even though it's on the right side, it's not as much threading to do as a left side cross draw carry. I would usually not just leave it on me, because sitting down, you know, you got like a banana on your hip. But if it's sitting like this, you don't notice it. So yeah, there's knives, there's options, there's things that you can do. I'm not a salesman. I don't have a link for any of these, you know. I don't have a coupon code. Where's your code? Give us a code. What's the code? The code is buy whatever you like. Spend your money on whatever you like. If you're buying it to impress other people, well, you know, good luck on that. You know, hopefully everybody will be impressed. But you know what you did. If you're buying it for yourself, then get whatever you like. You know, for whatever reason you like, and don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses. But for me, I'm in a fixed blade mode, you know, right now. Got a lot of fixed blades. I still like folders and things like that, but Esse is a very good company. You can go down niches of companies, you know, with buying lots of knives and just stick with one company, because really you got to narrow it down some way. You got to narrow down like a price or whatever. And this, you know, it's a different knife than all those other ones. It's light, thin. If you've ever watched, I went through the Japanese anime phase when it first came out, where I watched a lot of that. And before that, I was in Korea, and they have it's one of the universal things of what is Chinese and Japanese kung fu movies and videos in it. They always use different kinds of weapons and swords, and a lot of times it was Chinese or Japanese. So sometimes just having something that looks like that can bring back fond memories. And that's mainly what it is. If you're having fun, you enjoy what you're doing, fond memories. You're happy, you know, and happiness is elusive. It's not something that you're going to get very often. And it's also, sometimes it's not that deep, you know. It can be a shallow happiness. But yeah, there you go. So enjoy your knives, even if it's just looking at them. I enjoy making cheese and stuff like that. And the best knife to have on you when you need a knife is the knife that you have on you. So it's whatever that choice is. If you just have a little tiny knife and it gets the job done, and you're happy with it, you go, all right, cool, you know. I'm not weighted down with a lot of stuff, and I was just carrying that. And that's happy, and that's good for you, fine. If you want a little bit more substantial one, and you're ready for a little bit more, then there you go. And like I said, I have a small, it's kind of like the Three Bears, you know. Small, medium, large. So I always have something that's 3 inches or less. Usually it's like a small one. Medium one, 3 to 4 inches, maybe 5 inches. And then large. You know, it's got to be 4 inches or larger. So like Kalashnikov XXL, it's a 4-inch blade on it. This SE4, it's more than a 4-inch blade. Just a little bit over a 4-inch blade. How long is it? Let's see. So it could kind of fall in both categories there. See, it's about a 4.5 overall. So it's still not as long as I'd like, but it could serve as a capacitor. But I don't have to have, you know, like the long. This would be the biggest one. Then there would be like 2 or 3 other, you know, backup knives, 2 or 3 plus a neck knife. You know, this guy's 4 inches already. So there. That's my philosophy. It may not be perfect for you. It may not work for you. You do whatever, you know, works for you. But there's a knife within your budget and within your size range for whatever you want to cut. And I just like having options. So thank you for watching, and have a nice day.